We are going to follow the route that the Joad family took in John Steinbeck's novel, The Grapes of Wrath. We're starting in Sallisaw, Oklahoma. This is where the Joad family lived and where they began their journey. They had to leave because, of course, the historic Dust Bowl was forcing people to move where they could live and make money. So after leaving Sallisaw and starting out on Route 66, they stop in Paden for gas, and this is where kind of an omen happens where their dog gets run over, and it is kind of a way to herald the bad times that are to come. And further along the way, they stop in Bethany, Oklahoma, and Grandpa is having a very hard time. He has a stroke and he dies. And there's no other choice for the family except to bury him at the side of the road. This is where they meet the Wilsons, and they join up with the Wilsons to continue the journey to California. They stop in Santa Rosa, just past the Pecos River, and that's where the car breaks down here in New Mexico. So the boys have to go to a junkyard and find parts to fix their car so they can continue the journey. So they move on, and they find themselves in Holbrook, Arizona, and this is where they get a glimpse of the Painted Desert and how arid the environment is. They also start to see that the camps are about a day's journey apart, and the Colorado River camp would be no exception. This would have been a larger area for people to stop because of the water. This is where they hear about the desert that is to come, which of course is our Mojave Desert. So as they continue, Grandma passes away, and Ma is the only one that knows, but she keeps it a secret because when they get to this inspection station in Daggett, she really wants the family to be able to enter California fully. So she doesn't tell anybody that Grandma's passed until they are further in, here to Tehachapi. This is where the family sees the Central Valley for the first time, and they're very encouraged and excited. They really think they're going to be making money soon and everything is going to be okay. So they continue down into the valley. They have to stop in Bakersfield and say goodbye to Grandma at the corner. And then they find a place to camp, which would be their first Hooverville experience, which were just very large encampments for migrants. This would have been a place of poor sanitation, and disease would have spread easily in a place like this. So for the sake of a better place to stay, they found the government camp in Weed Patch, and they stayed here for a month. This was a place that had running water and sanitation units, and they were pretty comfortable here. But finally, they had to leave because there was a lack of work. So they went north about 35 miles and then to the east about 6 miles to Hooper Ranch to pick peaches. And there they found that they were actually scabs standing in during a strike. This is where Tom gets into trouble because he ends up killing a man. So the family has to wind their way north in the back roads about 20 miles, and they hit this waterway and they stay at a boxcar camp. So we leave the Joad family in their flooded boxcar, and half of them decide to go to a dry barn. And that's where the story ends.